Quick video for you here today, a kitchen update. We have the Zip Hydrotap system. I have it now installed and operational. I've been using it for a few weeks now. The kitchen is torn apart again because the painters have come, taken all the doors off, the drawer faces off. We're going to be doing new hardware, painting the whole kitchen. So today's a really good day for me to capture some footage here, show you what this Hydrotap system looks like, how I installed it, and it's a little easier to do that with the doors off. But just to recap, for those who've been following along on the house project, this is a Zip. I've got the invoice here. I bought from some goofy appliance place here locally. It's a bit of a nightmare buying this thing unless you get really lucky and have a good appliance dealer that has this. There aren't many in the country. This is an Australian product. I just found it really difficult to buy. If someone would just put it online, I would just order the darn thing. But what I have is the BCS, which is boiling, chilled, and sparkling version. And then I have the ARC, which I'll show you here in a second. But the total for this was $5,493 plus $384 tax. So the total was $5,877.51. That's $5,877. So it's a lot of freaking money. For those of you who are questioning my sanity here, this house that I'm in is my testing grounds. This is the test kitchen for what I plan to do in the future is a custom built house somewhere nearby here. And so I use this this much less expensive home as my tester for trying out a bunch of different things like dehumidification and Panasonic Whisper Quiet fans and doing a double fridge freezer setup. And so this was a tester. By the way, I mentioned this in a video like this on some other thing I was showing you, and somebody suggested this system. So thanks to those who suggested this. I will tell you when we conclude here that this is not, I wouldn't recommend this thing. But let me show you what it is. We'll show you how it works and then we'll wrap this up. Okay, so here's the main unit. And you can hear it running. The ice maker next to it is running as well. And so like I said, we're all torn apart here. The doors are off, so now is a great time. The drawer faces are off, so now is a great time to discuss this. Now, you do need to, especially in a higher use environment, you really do need to vent this. Now, because this is a large cabinet that goes up all the way up into the basically to the ceiling, the cavity behind here is big enough that I don't think it's an issue. Now, because I've done so much modifying, I wish I would have known what I was going to do from the beginning here. My cabinet, you can see it's kind of dark back there, but it's a little bit wonky with all the plumbing and all the changes I've made. So in the next house, I won't buy a new cabinet and then chop it all apart. I've had several plumbers in here. But essentially all that you need is you need a water line coming in. So we tapped into the bathroom behind here. And then you're gonna need a drain. We'll show you where the drain is here in a second. So the Zip system is here. Really shouldn't be anything you need to do. It gives me an update on what my boiling water is, what my chilled water temperature is, and then what my filter is. The filter's right here behind this door. The filter's at 96%. Like I said, we've been using it for several weeks. Because I have a whole house filtration system, I don't think I'm going to need to do any kind of, I'm not going to need to be swapping the filter very often. On the left there, that is our CO2 tank, and so that's what supplies our sparkling setup. And I'm still solidly in the green there, so I have plenty of sparkling water capability as well after using it for a couple of weeks, and you can see the mess of holes that we put into the wall to get to all our plumbing set up for the ice maker that I did after the fact, which I should have pre-plumbed for before doing this cabinet, but I thought it would be simpler than this. Anyway, no worries because this is all behind the cabinet doors. So if we look over here, so that's the brain, that's the unit, that's the power, that's where there's a reservoir for boiling water, and then this is the ARC. So this is how we control or how it functions. And so this is fixed. So this is this we have in a fixed position. You can take it apart and flip it around. I was really torn. It's kind of goofy to have the knob here, but most of us, all of us in the house here are right-handed. So you normally hold the cup with your right hand and operate with your left hand. But I guess it just depends on which way you think it should go. Notice we've got our backsplash tile here. So this is the tile we're going to be doing, which I think is going to be pretty cool. We're going to do it in a subway fashion. And I've got some of my Obsessed Garage under cabinet lighting coming too. But once these all get painted and filled and fixed and all that stuff, should be here in the next week. The painters came and took all this, so they'll be coming back probably not next week, but the following week to paint everything. And this is called a font. So this is basically, if I can get this off of here, this is basically just a really simple drain. It's a drain grate. And so, you know, the kids, if the kids weren't here, this wouldn't be all wet. But, you know, they're giving this a good college test here and beating the crap out of this thing. But the concept here is that at all times you have on tap, you have chilled water. So I select here so this is chilled. I have the sparkling, and then we have boiling. So here's how the drain ended up. They ended up putting a P-trap in, much more sophisticated than I assumed. My original plan was to put the ice maker where it is. This is where the fridge originally was. And you see now the large double Sub-Zero is over there to the left. But the plan was to make this our little water station. So we have our nugget ice maker, Scotsman nugget ice maker here, which needed a drain. Again, my drain I'm tapping into is from the bathroom that's behind here, because we didn't build this house. And so the drain actually ended up being much more sophisticated. And so the plumber came, put a P-trap in, and then made this little drain pocket that accepts our lines from the ice maker. So the ice maker has a pump on it. It's a little float that kicks the drain pump on, and then it pumps it into this little hole here. And then the same thing coming up from the font, you can see. And so the font then drains into the same drain. And then of course there's a door on here, and then you will notice it. So one of the things that I underestimated, it really does stink, is I wasted this whole cabinet. So the original plan, and it is much better if you can, when you're designing this, to set this up to where the zip Hydrotap is designed, the brain is designed to go right underneath the font. And so that's something to keep in mind. Now, you'll notice up in here, there are many different lines. So you have, and I actually had to buy some new lines from Big Mastercar, because the ones they supplied were a little too short. They're not supposed to do this, but it's working, it's functioning. It's supposed to gravity, you're supposed to have gravity straight down. So I'm coming down and going up and over. So probably not completely purging the lines every time we use it. So that's not smart, but it is working, it's functioning. And you should probably insulate these as well. I've insulated it behind here, so when it runs to the left, and it's insulated up under here as well. So I insulated those lines. I just have to grab another foot or so of insulation to insulate that. So you have hot, vent, cold is the blue, and sparkling. And those all enter into the arc. So our concept here would be to do this, would be to grab a cup. Okay, I want some sparkling water, grab a cup. I'm gonna take here, I stick it in here, grab some ice, and everybody gets all mad. It's my freaking house, I'm gonna do whatever I want. So that's how I get ice. Take this, I want chilled water, I make sure it's blue, I pull the knob, and it's sending me 34 to 36 degree water. Let's see, what did it say? The chilled was, sorry, 37 to 41 degree water on top of my ice. Now, when I have the doors and stuff on, you can hear it. That's another thing to keep in mind. If you're building your house or doing this from the beginning, it does make some noise. So in a perfect world, they do send it with a vent. You could put a vent system on the cabinet. I don't think it's necessary because of the size of this cabinet. If I could do this again, or when I do this again, if I did it again, I would think ahead. Again, I'm retrofitting this into a kitchen that already exists. So if I want to do sparkling, so sparkling water, this is one thing I haven't quite figured out yet. Sparkling has been spurting a bit for me. So we go back to sparkling. And the sparkling water is great, but I can't get it to, it's supposed to have a steady stream. And I've made about 57 adjustments to it. See how it makes a little bit of a mess here? You don't want that. So what I do is, when I don't have a camera in my hand, I just hold it up here. And then you get some, quality sparkling water. And so the concept here for most people is that you would use the filter here, the whatever micron filter. You would use this filter to filter your water. I'm double filtering because I do have a whole house water softening system from Connecticut. So this is a bit of a formality. Really, the reason why I wanted it was so that I could have, the plan was that I would have some, like a water station here set up. And then of course you have boiling. So in order to do boiling water, you have to go here, you double tap. Wait, double tap, nope. There you go. Double tap the bottom, and then you can have boiling water. Like that. And it does 200 and, right now it's 208.4 degrees. And so where I find that to be useful is that I'll fill up, like if the kids are making mac and cheese, I'd fill that up, take it over here to the cooktop, and then very quickly have the water boiling in order to boil pasta in seconds. Or if you're making hot chocolate or tea or something like that. So to conclude, make sure you plan ahead if you're going to do something like this. You would want to, I think, soundproof and insulate. Or actually you would soundproof and ventilate. I haven't had any issues, and when the doors are on there, it's actually pretty quiet. The ice maker actually makes more noise than the zip system. I know you're hearing it on the microphone, but I promise when the doors are on there, it's not so bad. You would want to design it so that the faucet is directly above the main unit. That's the most efficient way to do it. I was thinking about putting it in the attic, but that's really not going to work. You'll have issues with waiting for hot water, waiting for cold water, having issues with sparkling and things like that, because it drains back into the tank, and that's why it's supposed to be gravity connected and shouldn't have a loop like I have. But I think because I have that little bit of carry, I think it does have enough centrifugal force to pull the water back into the tank, and so it doesn't seem like I'm having any issues with it at all, and also not having issues with heat. If this thing was $1,500, I think it'd be pretty cool. But for $6,000 almost, $500 yeah, I don't think, even if I build a multi-million-dollar house, I don't think I'd be putting it in there. It's likely going to be, especially in higher volume environments, it seems like it'd probably be pretty fragile. These are designed for offices and things like that, so I don't know how well it would hold up. I know lots of people had commented before that they had one in their office and it was a bit of a maintenance nightmare. I think it's gonna be fine here in the house with the amount of use that we have for it. But the other thing I question is, how much energy is this thing using? We're putting Tesla solar in, so I'm a little less concerned about energy use because we're going to be, solar powering, 85% of our power needs. But I am noticing all these fancy things I put in this house. This is a $250 per month maximum, electric bill type house. I'm getting, on the order of $375 to $400 a month because of all this fancy stuff I put in here. So the solar's going to pay off a little bit quicker than it would have otherwise because of what we put into this place. But that's the zip system. I think I don't want to discourage anyone from getting it, but I don't know. I'm not in love with it, but it certainly is functioning. It works well, and I think that more time will tell whether or not I'll do one in another house in the future. But I thought I'd share with you how we set it up. Stay tuned. I'll be sharing with you more videos on the house as we go through and put it all together. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more crazy.